Folks, hello and welcome to Gamers Health. I am Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, and with me, as you will find every Saturday night, dun dun dun, is none other than my lovely wife, Rachel.
Hello.
That's known as Rach. If you see her at a convention, just go, "Hi, Rach." So, um, we figured we would do some updates. I'm gonna take this. What do you call it? Yeah, on the bottom of the screen, the thing.
The DCC Mage Bundle.
Yes,
hmm
the mega bundle. The mega. It's a mega. It's a bundle. 10 cards. There's tavern.game/DCC.
Oh, I was filling in the blanks.
It's
I called
okay.
it a Mage Bundle.
It's a
like,
It's a
Maybe
mage.
people are into mages and shit, so I said, "Oh, it's a
It's a
Mage
mage bundle.
Bundle."
No, it's a mega bundle. Like in like mega, like in bigly. I should put bigly bundle.
La Mega.
Yeah, well, you only know that if you live in there. Big Vic, welcome. So I'm going to. I'll put the banner up later, but it's a little bit of a distraction. It's just the two of us. So I will remove the banner for now. So I figured we would give some updates, and then we'll dive into. I guess the main topic, main theme of this episode. Next Saturday, we will have a special guest,
Yes.
a published author, an author,
A therapist.
and a therapist. So, Mr. Gunn, welcome. How are things? Well, again, we'll get into this whole reboot, and it's not a hard reboot. It's not changing your life. It's taking yourself and getting out of your rut, so to speak. But in the meantime, we mentioned last week that we went to a comedy show a week ago Friday, the Jimmy Dore show. So what is remarkable to me is that Rach and I have now gone to three comedy shows during uh,
Mm-hmm.
our courting and marriage. And of those three, two have been in the last 10 months, 8 months.
I guess.
Yeah. So it's okay. Good. All right. So Rach was asking me that question earlier.
What's that?
Ernie is home from the hospital.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I know that the family was
Oh,
being
that's
a
really
little
good to hear.
close-lipped on that. I mean,
I just kind of don't blame them, you
no.
know. There's certain things that you'll tell people, but then certain things that you want to get through before you
Yeah.
disclose. So, yeah.
And we understand that completely.
Mhm.
And that's good news for Ernie. Again, congestive heart failure on this side. I know what it's like to have heart issues. I know what it's like when your heart isn't working properly.
Yeah.
And there's very little as scary as that.
Yeah.
I've been through some scary shit. I fought cancer and all that, and my congestive heart failure was a real stressful part in my times. I can only imagine how stressful it was for Ernie, and it's stressful for the family. So with his wife, I know Rach was going through hell when I was going through my own
Absolutely.
hell. So I think that we forget to pray or have good thoughts or well wishes for the family members that are impacted during these events. They're going through it too.
Yes.
Uh,
Absolutely.
so like when I say and yes, I'm a 56-year-old man. I say nightly prayers, and when I do my intentions for individual people, I always say, John Doe and their family, because whatever's affecting one person is affecting a lot more than
Yes.
than that. So, Jackie Donna was a real trooper.
Oh.
Listen, nothing is as powerful as having a strong-willed spouse at your side. Honest to God. So again, very, very glad to hear that. Very good news. Um, and it was in the back of my mind because again, there's no, although I started calling my hospitalization vacation, because I had good sir, good staff, and then the food was
Well,
spot
the
on.
hospital is a very
Yeah, it's a very high end
yeah.
hospital, very well run. Shadow, awesome to see you, sir. And Tom and Tammy are in. We've
Yay!
got the whole
The whole
family.
gang.
So, like I was saying before everybody came in, next week we're gonna have a special guest. I'm actually gonna probably put the link up a day or two early, and hit the social
Do we
media
want to
stuff.
say it's David, right? David Hand.
I believe it's David Hand.
Hand, yeah.
Yes.
And he's written a book about the use of role-playing games in psychotherapy, and I'm reading it now, and it's pretty good.
And that's the thing too. Like,
And it's interesting to kind of see
because
sort of how that works, and
you always
a
thought
lot of
about
the
it.
benefits. Yeah, I always thought about. I'm sure the VA has something going on where they would use these games because it could resolve or help somebody deal with a lot of trauma, in a way that is less threatening than saying
Right.
fully your experience.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Where
So
they could role play it through characters. Nobody's gonna, well, why would you have ever done that? Like that judgment stuff is so much less. But we'll dig more deeply into that stuff,
yeah.
I guess, when we have our special guests. It's really
Yeah.
exciting.
So I did not read the article. I saw there was an article on prisoners in D&D in the New York Times. Also, D&D's been all over the place. I don't know if you guys and gals watch the Cold War.
Yeah.
With was it David?
Yeah, I think they only say his first name.
Yeah.
David.
So the Cold War is a great YouTube channel.
I think they're Canadian.
And
or he sounds like he is.
And they covered D&D today as part of what was happening during the Cold War. And it's a great overview.
Like that it's an outgrowth of the Cold War.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great overview. He did a very good job. Listen, we're all a bit of a historian when it comes to this shit. And as he put it too, he goes, there's certain things I'm glossing over because not enough time in a video to handle it. Especially for a channel that's mostly about the Cold War, bringing D&D was a bit of a stretch, but I think they did a pretty good job. So that came out today. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Mr. Gunn, I agree, Eric. A good woman is essential. A good spouse, period. Okay. In my case, it's my wonderful wife, Rach's. But it could be your husband. Doesn't really matter. Big Vic, kind of sad when you realize that one game master was going to be executed. Well, shit happened. Sorry. At least he had an escape while on death row. I mean, that's.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't think I understood.
Yeah, there's an article about gaming in prisons. Bo paints minis. I don't mind if a therapist is using RPGs as a tool, as long as me, as a GM, do not have to be the therapist.
No, it's very different.
No, it's being used as a therapy tool
by a therapist.
I agree.
Yeah.
As a GM, I'm not there to be your therapist. I'm not there to be.
Well, I think that'll be a really cool element to discuss next week, and maybe ask about, for people that are GMing and, sort of like, where's that line, or
right.
Yeah.
So interesting times, though.
Yeah.
And again, D&D has certainly. Well, everybody knows, right? The 50th anniversary is next year. 40th anniversary, as was pointed out on today's video, was the launch of 5e. So go figure. And that's pretty much where they ended there. As they put it, 5e is still ongoing.
5e's been out that long.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go figure. 3e launched when I was in the academy, I believe, or just out of it. Or maybe we got the leaked PDF of 3rd edition when I was in the academy. Big Vic, I think escaping into a game like D&D in person would actually be mentally beneficial. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure. I can see a lot of it. And now here's the thing: a lot of
Well, it
prisons.
would keep you out of like it could keep you out of a lot of the politics and
Well, it gives you escape mentally.
skirmishes and yeah, like
But I mean, for the longest time, I don't know if they allow dice in prisons now. They didn't used to. So
I don't know.
yeah, some people used to use. If your prison allowed pencils, they use pencils as six siders. So Ken Whitman doing pencil dice was not a big stretch. Um, God help us. And beyond pencil dice, people were using chits, and we know people were using chits back in the early days of D&D when
Chit,
the chits
chit.
chits, so like little like squares of like paper or cardboard,
Oh, okay.
and you place them face down, and one side has a number, and you can use a
Mm-hmm.
chit as a random number generator. So now let's see the updates. We were well. Let's see. This update's going to actually be putting us into our main theme for this anyway. Rachel and I were in the Poconos. We went up Sunday. We came home on Thursday. We realized that aside from conventions, that's the longest we've been away in a solid stretch. And I don't know how long. I mean,
Yeah.
conventions are our long stretches because we go up on a Wednesday, come home on a Monday. But we went up on a Sunday, came home on a Thursday. We were away for 4 nights. Our little kitty was very upset because we left her behind, but my parents left their kitties up in the Poconos. So we did a swap. we went
And
up,
the
they came
kitties
back.
don't mix very well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're a little territorial. But it was this was a very special time to get away. There's been a lot of well, we'll go over this in the coming weeks. That there's been a lot of just stuff going on, but for us getting away, and I didn't realize it until we got away. And if anybody tells you the country is quiet, they're full of shit. The country is not quiet. Sleeping in the country is not quiet.
Because I go up there and I'm like, what was that?
Yeah, because there's a lot of noises going on, but
Yes.
they're nature noises. Or in our case too, it's the fucking cats noises. But my parents' cats, they like to. Our kitty likes to sleep at night. There's these
Well,
kitties.
she'll call at night,
Yeah.
Because she's not happy that we're leaving her and going into the bedroom. But like, you know, she'll like move her fishes around and cry for a while, and then usually after a few minutes she'll like, okay, I get it now.
Okay, they make spinners. Thank you. They use a spinner for the random generator.
Oh.
Okay, that's a safe. Um, but yes, we got away, and we were away for a number of days, and it was a nice change because again we live in New York City, might be the borough of Queens. We might have a backyard and a front yard, but it's not the same as having wild turkeys wandering through your yard or having deer at the end of the street or having a neighbor talking about
seeing
bears greeting them 20 feet away from their doors. They went out to take out the garbage in the morning. It's a different atmosphere and it's a different mindset. One thing that I joked with Rachel about was even when if you're driving and you're on one of these back roads and somebody's walking along, you better wave because they're going to wave at you.
Yes.
You better wave. If you are walking and somebody else is walking, you better say hello. If somebody's driving by, put your head up and give a half little wave, because these things are things that if you live in New York City, you are basically, as a survival interest, told not to do.
Yeah, you keep your head not down, but you keep your gaze.
You don't make eye contact in the subway system.
Yes. You don't usually initiate, you know,
It's
contact.
just social
Yeah.
contact, unless you or the other party has a dog.
Yes, that's easier.
Okay, with the dog becomes the great equalizer. So I'm good at this because even when I was a cop, if I was on the street, everybody I walked past on the street, it was hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, give them a nod, because you're out there on a foot post. You better acknowledge these people because you're out there working for them and you want them to work with you. So, but the idea is
Yeah, I
that
mean, in the clinics, it's like they're coming into your space, so they're saying that they, are interested in you or something that what where you work has to offer them. So it's always, oh, good morning, how are you? And trying to engage people, but you don't necessarily want to engage everybody on the street.
right,
So
yeah, it becomes a bit of
yeah.
what do they call it,
And
a
then
sticky
also
wicket.
like yes, and then like also like with the profession that I did, um, you have to honor confidentiality. So if you see someone and you might not be sure, oh, where do I know that person from? You just don't say anything because you have to honor the person's confidentiality. I mean, I've had it where like people have like given up their own confidentiality, which is fine, or like, shouting across a subway platform, Miss Rachel, who is this? Because they would always know that I knew their voices. But yeah, like it's like a funny thing. Like there's a double reason why.
Right.
It's like
Almost,
it's tunnel.
it's like a Chinese wall type of deal, kind of. Yeah, the thing is, like New York City sounds, I can sleep through the garbage truck coming through, picking up the garbage, picking up the recycling, all the glass
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and metal breaking. I can sleep through that in the city.
Sirens we can sleep through
Yeah,
generally,
I hear a siren up in the
like in the
Poconos, and
background.
I'm all ears, and I'm of course trying to identify whether it's FD, EMS, PD, because everything has its own different sound. But I hear garbage trucks going by the house up in PA in the Poconos, and that wakes me up because it's not part of that background noise
Hmm.
of katydids and crickets and birds waking up at 4 a.m. to start their morning chirping.
I don't know. When I lived in the country as a kid, like when we moved from Long Island to Connecticut,
Mm-hmm.
um, I was like, I can't sleep here. It's too quiet. All you hear are like the bugs and the frogs, and then there's no sirens. I'm like, we must be out pretty far because I don't hear any sirens.
Where's the
Yeah,
sirens,
exactly.
bro?
Yeah, so it's like, oh, okay, I can go to sleep when we're being looked after.
Hold on. I'm drinking my
Uh,
not quite a 40, my 34 of Dad's root beer. It's diet, yo. But
you'd never believe it if you taste it.
oh, that's a good thing I put the top on. Oh my god!
Can I help?
I can get it, maybe. Holy shit! I got it. I turned red. All right, I'll leave it on my desk.
Oh my god, you did tell me.
Oh God! All right, so
With that in mind, I'm gonna cover my bar.
we got like 22 turkeys that go between me and my parents' yard and my neighbor's yard up there. It was hilarious, and there's another group of turkeys further down. So, but
That just seemed like a little family unit, like the three
yeah,
of them.
it's like we don't like the rest of you. We're making our own unit. We're
A
special.
breakaway group.
Um, Vic, you probably need to use pellets. I don't think the BBs are going to do it. Coming from someone who, as a kid, used to hunt frogs with a high-powered BB gun,
Oh no.
and the BB rounds would go under the skin and look like a tumor, and then they'd hop off. So you need that impact of a
Boys are
pellet.
horrible.
Yes, boys are horrid. I tell you, but it was a good reboot. I was surprised by the second day how energized I was, and I was
Mm.
sleeping deep and up in the Poconos. Like here in New York, we don't want to get out of bed. Up in the Poconos, we want to get out of bed because we got a good place to go get breakfast from, which is Stan's off of Route
Yeah, we
6.
can't miss it.
Um, in between White
Except on
Mills
Wednesday.
and Honesdale. Yeah, they're closed on Wednesday, but they've got good food and it's got good atmosphere, and it's always crowded, always crowded. So that's when you know you've got good places to eat.
Yeah.
Now we also got to take a walk along the Wallenpaupack River at
Oh, the lake.
the lake. Sorry,
Mm.
over the dike, and it was very peaceful and beautiful. And then I love those views near sunset because the
Yeah.
sun just makes a beautiful impact as it starts setting. Doesn't matter if there's some clouds in the sky or not. Sometimes they just add an extra effect, but this just kind of rejuvenates. And I think that you need this. I mean, I honestly think we should be trying to do something like that, like once a month. And now next
Yeah.
month we'll have ShireCon,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And
And who
then
knows? We'll probably go back again
yeah,
too. You
yeah.
know, like so.
But I really do think if you're in a situation where you can't literally get away, find a place close enough you can get out to nature. Like look, we went to Forest Park yesterday with Donka, our dog.
Mm-hmm.
She loves Forest Park. She loves Juniper Valley Park, but like this park for different reasons. Juniper Valley is
Where you
ball
go to
fields.
socialize,
Yes.
meet kids and adults and other dogs. Um, she'll always meet somebody in the other park, but that's more about the walk for her, like it is for us.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's more about like really being in nature, the sniffing, you know.
Yeah, she Forest Park. You can during parts of your walk, you can forget that you're in the city.
Yes, because it's very
Secluded parts.
yeah. There's a nice canopy of trees
There's a golf
for
course
a
next
long
to it,
time. Yeah,
which is fine. But
and then there's other trails on the other side that take you more off the beaten path. But
mm,
you know, I don't know. You are aware that like you can get lost in there, but
yeah,
it's not. You know, like you're like, oh my god, um, I'm never gonna find my way out because.
yeah. I think if we're gonna do that, I need a walking stick.
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll have to get those.
Not. I don't need the double
The
ones.
double one, yes,
No,
the
I don't need
trekking stick.
I don't need a trekking stick. I just
Yes.
I need a walk. I need to be like Gandalf.
Well, no, because you want to have your alignment be properly. Like you want to be able to use your arms and your legs to propel and have it be even and not unbalanced.
I'm already unbalanced. Oh, you're not talking about that. Oh, sorry. Sorry. So true story about hunting. I'm gonna use it with quotation marks in semi-urban areas, like with neighbors around. Uh, my grandfather, who had the house in the Poconos before my family did, um, he uh, he hunted. He never had a license, but he hunted. So one time, he was hunting in the woods across the street. He was about maybe a half mile into the woods, and he saw a deer. It was winter time. Shot the deer. One shot down, and then he hears voices, and he panicked. So he buried himself in the snow, buried the deer in the snow, and he thought it was rangers or stadies, and it was neither one. It was the electric company just surveying their lines after a storm to make sure there was no damage
Oh.
to it. So then he wound up dragging that deer home and butchering it in the bathtub because that's what you did. So another time there was a rabbit that was getting into his garden. He didn't fence off his garden patch in the backyard area. So this rabbit would constantly go in there and eat his beans and other assorted stuff. So he takes his deer rifle and he lines up a shot at the rabbit and missed the rabbit, but hit the neighbor's son's truck in the engine block. That truck was there in that yard for the next 25 years before it like rotted to pieces and they finally had like a junk. I think when Fran bought the house, I think
Mm-hmm.
that's when they finally removed that truck. So, uh, yeah, no, definitely an interesting time. Um, Nani's Professor Nani said catch 22 with the deer around here because we live on a main road. So odds are, if they aren't hunted, they may take out a car.
Oh, sure.
Honestly, we love seeing them, but traffic just keeps getting heavier. Yeah. What was our deer count for the 4.5 days we were up there?
33.
33 deer.
And they weren't necessarily like in fields or things like that. It was
Just
often that they
crossing
were
the street.
pretty
Yeah.
close to the roadway. Yeah.
Yeah. Or crossing a roadway in front of us.
Yes.
And whenever you see one deer
There's
dart
always
across,
somebody.
I'm always like, all right, let's wait for the rest. Now, here's something that I did notice this year that is different from prior years. Prior years, we could spot 20 deer in one field. This year, what 3 or 4 deer at one time this was all separate spotting incidents.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like we were seeing 20 in one field. We were that the fields that we used to always see them in because there was a lot of tall grass
But
and
maybe the
apples.
hunting is going okay.
Maybe I'm just noticing.
And that they're thinning the population out so they don't come over there as much.
Mr. Gunn, we live in the birds and we have some nice walking trails. Currently, my left knee is messed up, so I am not
Hi.
able to enjoy. Yeah, when we go back to our orthopedist this fall, he offered me an injection for my right knee, which has been acting up now, even when the weather isn't bad. Like it's tight today, and we're not going to have rain for days. So I might take him up on the injection. Rach is like, I don't know if you should. I don't know.
Look, I mean, if it's gonna help.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna bite the bullet and get that done. But
I hesitate with myself.
and I'm a
'Cause I
person.
have a left knee injury.
Yeah, I'm a person that hates shots in general. So let's just take it from there. But getting yourself rebooted now. What's great with this reboot is that before we went on and got away for a couple of days, we had started spring cleaning at the end of the summer, and sounds a little bit like an oxymoron, but you don't need to spring clean in the spring. And there's events going on in the larger life that may require uh, I guess a purging of extra crap because I accumulate crap. I'll be the first person to say it.
Oh, I know.
By the way, I got I bid on a box of the Ghostbusters RPG. I don't think it came with the dice though.
Don't we have that already?
No, we don't have Ghostbusters.
Oh, you have Batman.
And Batman would give it away. Ghostbusters was a game that I used to have, and I no longer could find it. I got a feeling that I purged that when when Chris was going to move in here.
You sure it's not in storage?
No, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure. Pretty sure. I wouldn't have put it in storage because it's one of those games that's very hard to find.
Oh.
So, um, the DNR here uses silenced shotguns for urban deer hunting. Wow. I had a lieutenant. I will not name him, although I guess the statute of limitations is probably run out. But I had a lieutenant who brought in venison stew, and it was actually venison chili. Sorry, it was actually very, very good. And he lived on Staten Island, and I asked him, Lou, how did you manage to get a deer on Staten Island? There's no legal hunting within the city limits, and there are deer on Staten Island. They swam over from Jersey. I guess
Yeah, that place sucks so bad.
sucks so bad.
I gotta
We
get out
gotta
of
we
here.
gotta get out of here, yo. And he went bow hunting. Bow hunting's the quietest way you're gonna go hunting. So
Oh, crossbow.
no
What do you mean?
bow hunting,
Archery.
archery. Yes, that's a bow.
Oh,
Yep. I was like, damn,
bow and arrow.
bow and arrow.
Wow.
And I gotta
I
say,
had a professor who used to do that too.
you know,
Mm.
I am not much of the whole thing of hunting, and as long as you're using the meat and everything else, that's great. Those that just hunt for sport, I have an issue with it. But if you're
Yeah.
using bow and arrow, you're giving the deer
Yeah,
a fighting.
yeah, it's
You're
an
giving
equal
the you're
playing
you're
field.
giving the deer a fighting chance, and I gotta say that's pretty good. Um, Donations to the convention are going to happen in about 2 weeks. All right, ShireCon's in 2 weeks.
Mhm.
I'm going to be bringing some stuff to ShireCon. They can either be added to the raffles, or they can. I got to think. I think they're going to be auctioned on. I think that's better. That's going to be.
It's going to be an auction
Yeah, there's
or a
always
silent auction.
silent auction.
Okay,
I think they'll make some money for the con.
cool.
You know.
Okay.
Oh yeah, archery is a great pastime that can suck to hunt with it. Just saying, of course. That's why
I
I'm
only
saying.
did archery one time at summer camp.
One time in band camp. Sorry.
Yes, one time in summer camp, and I was so good that I got a bullseye on the other person, and the person next to me's um, target. Thank you. I didn't think of the word for that. But yeah, I was like, wow. They're like, whoa, you got a bullseye. I was like, yes. But on somebody else's. I was like, oh.
All right, so
There's a reason.
we would have that happen at the range. By the way,
Oh, really?
people, you'd have the instructor be marching. They'd be, marking off. You do it at 25 yards, 10 yards, and I think 7 yards. Well, actually, maybe it's 25 feet, 10 feet. I'm not sure. In any case, the longest point, they come along though, and they mark off where each bullet struck. You're only firing like 7 rounds from the longest. And the instructor turned to this one officer and went, "All right, well, here's the good news. All the rounds struck your target. Here's the weird news. He goes, what? You got 2 extra rounds in your target." And he turns to the person next to him. "You've got none. So I think that you put a few rounds." I think like the person, because you're shooting with like 40 different people on the line, and the person to their right was so far off what they were shooting at that nothing even landed on their backboard, but it landed on their neighbor's target. So shit happens. Don't worry about it, Bo. Or excuse me. We have a dog that thinks that she's a hunting dog. She's a dachshund, so scents get her crazed.
She's a scent hound.
She's a scent hound.
Yeah.
So I was surprised though. Again, when we came back, Rach was right back to our kitchen cupboard, clearing out stuff like, "Hey,
The party's over.
let's get this going." And it's necessary. And what's good is that I'm finding stuff that like, oh wow, when I intended to bake some carb bread, low carb bread, all bread is carb, low carb bread. I'm like, oh, we have psyllium husk. I don't have
2 different forms or something.
Yeah. Oh, look, and I do have my nutritional yeast. As an aside, nutritional yeast does not act like regular yeast. It does not necessarily
It's
bloom.
basically a flavor
It's a
enhancer.
basically a flavor enhancer. Yep. Mr. Gunn, we'll catch you later.
Hmm.
Be good.
Thank you.
Uh, Doxy's R Ratters. She,
Yeah, badger hunters.
yep. Yeah, she's, her nose is right. You know, you're going to the park and all of a sudden you're like, "Ugh!" And it's like, well, no, she's finding messages or she's found something in the dirt that is special.
Unless she really wants to roll in.
Can I roll in this, Daddy? No. No, damn you, dog. No. But now, what's interesting too is that when we're in the Poconos, our Dotson, you can't stay in bed too long because she will want you to get up because she knows that
You have to
she,
feed me and you have to walk me.
right. And we tell her she gets her walk after we've had our breakfast, and we get her dry for our breakfast. So sorry, Dotsie. I'm not. I know. But she loves the Poconos. She gets very excited about all her little walks. And if she wants to continue going, she'll walk past the house and say, "Well, we got to go in the other direction because she's not done yet."
Yeah, she'll ignore the house. Like, no, we're not going there.
So now, what a good thing too about this reset is that it also reset me mentally for physical activity. So now I'm like, yeah, I want to get my 30 minutes of exercise in every day
Nice.
and get my stand. I generally always get my move in on my watch, but
Do you have the same monthly challenge to close
I've
your
no,
exercise
I've,
22
I,
times this
I
month?
have no clue.
I got
I,
my last month's one.
I never pay attention to the monthly
I
challenges.
always do.
It's
Love
always,
that.
it's always my own challenge. But what I was doing up in the Poconos is I was actually doubling my exercise. I was hitting 60 minutes
Yeah.
because when we go shopping and I do all that
He
walking,
gets credit for his shopping.
not all of it, but for a portion of it, if I walk
No,
like
my watch knows. I'll walk over the mall and it'll know and it'll be like, okay, you did this. And then I'll go inside Macy's or in, and just walk in the mall. And then it doesn't really give the credit that way. Like because like I'm looking at stuff or you know,
oh no, I'm on a
you
mission.
slow down or whatever when you look at stuff or whatever.
I'm on a mission. It knows I'm on a mission.
And then it knows when I'm walking home.
And it's like, okay, I'll give you a little credit now. But no, I really am now pretty much psyched to close my exercise on a daily basis, if not double it, if possible,
Mm-hmm.
which can only help with the blood sugar, the weight,
Yes.
keeping the kidneys healthy.
Mm-hmm.
All this stuff is important. Now, what we have done, uh, and of course, in our purge slash organizational thing, we found we have a decent amount of apple cider vinegar waiting to be used. So we're having apple cider vinegar in our lemon water every morning. And you know what? It's not bad. And in my case, apparently I have a small kidney stone waiting to do something. I'd like to see if the apple cider vinegar and the lemon water can naturally help break that down. So we will uh, we will see. Crossing fingers. But I don't have a doctor's appointment until the end of the month. Thank God.
With that one,
Uh,
the nephrologist.
and endo.
Oh,
Your nephrologist is October.
okay.
Cardiologist is early November, and I think our orthopedist is November.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to make a podiatry appointment.
Yeah.
So, here's the thing too, and with Rach and I both being retired, before when she was working, we had to plan our getaways a month and a half in advance.
Yeah.
Make sure she, can you get an extra day? You had to break the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what we got to do is make sure that we got somebody to watch our kitty, or if we're going away somewhere else, keep an eye on our doggy too,
Mm-hmm.
which obviously isn't always simple, but it's a lot simpler than having to also work out a work schedule around it.
Yeah.
Oh, so see, like I find that the apple cider vinegar in about 16 ounces of ice water with lemon and a shot of Splenda, not Splenda, but stevia does does okay.
Oh, okay.
But of course, you
Yeah, I'm
can't.
thinking of adding like a tiny bit of cinnamon in there.
I know a bit of
Maybe
cinnamon.
that'll
Yeah.
counteract or complement that apple look.
Well, you see, we could make cinnamon water with our cinnamon sticks and have that like sit in the fridge overnight, and then you can just and you'll have some nice flavored cinnamon water. I'm just saying.
Hmm.
We do have fresh cinnamon sticks because
Right.
I've used that in my making my own fireball whiskeys. I'm not making the whiskey from scratch. I'm taking another whiskey and turning that into a fireball. Uh, Tammy, with our last child out of the house, we now have a who's going to take care of the big dog problem. But we have relatives who love Tucker. But yes, it does cause you to pause, and it does. We have our, my parents. They've been wonderful. We have our son's fiance. She's
Mm-hmm.
done pet watching in the past for us. So, but the reality is too is that you know maybe it's something you want to do. The schedule just isn't going to work, or maybe you're going to have to find, God, dare I say it, lodge your pet for a couple of days. And
Oh,
I know, I think Donka would get depressed, and I think Sadie would get pissed. Our cat would be like, "No, you fuckers."
oh yeah. Sadie would be like acting out
Yeah,
bad.
she's, she's like, I don't have patience for this shit.
Like when she goes to see the vet will document. The vet will document that her screeching and growling are so loud that she couldn't hear her heart sounds, or whatever, and they can't complete the full exam. Yeah, 'cause she's always like,
Our cat actually woofs. She goes woof woof. I've never heard a cat woof. Now she lived on the streets for a bit, but she woofs at my mother's cats. If they get too close, you woof. It's like, are you trying to pretend that you're a dog? Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Um, you know what? We have been petless, well, dogless. Cats are generally easier than a dog. They don't need to be walked, but uh, that's okay. I'll take the loss of freedom. Of
yeah, sacrifice it. I love having animals.
yeah,
Love it.
you know. In the case of having the Dachshund, it gives us not just an excuse, but a reason to say, "Hey, let's go out to the park. Let's go take a walk."
Yes.
You know, I mean, we could go and walk just ourselves, but it's a lot more enjoyable and fun when you know that your
Yeah.
little critter is getting enjoyment and fun out of it
Mm-hmm.
too. But you know, uh, I do feel that soft reboots are important, and again, even if you can't get away, and a lot of people can't get away, we're in a blessed situation where we have access to a house in the country to do that soft reboot. But I would do a soft reboot by, uh, you know, going to the Jamaica Bay Wildlife Refuge. Uh,
Oh
that's a
yeah.
walk you can't
Meaning
take your dog with you, but
get close to
get
nature.
close to nature,
Mhm.
really get away from everything except other
And then
people.
those like reserves out in the island.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, you need to connect with nature, I think, in order to cleanse that. You're not cleansing your soul, but you aren't giving up some of your stress.
Well, you're remembering to like what you're related to, like that were part of something bigger
Yep.
and where you fit in it.
So it's just, I mean, we actually, we don't go to Jamaica Bay Wildlife Park. We haven't done that yet this year, actually.
No.
Maybe we should.
Yeah. I think what it is, no
We-
dogs.
Yep, no dogs.
And then like your mom hasn't been as
As
much up for that.
Yeah, she was always the one that wanted to
She would
hit that.
love that place.
So, but
Hey, we could do it like we did when we were dating.
what? Bring Chris along?
Maybe, yeah, if he comes up again. Or just go on our own.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say, we could, Chris is 30 now. He's no longer 16. So
No. He might have a new appreciation.
no, he won't.
Okay.
Oh, maybe he will. Actually, I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
He's enjoying living in like countryish life out in in Tennessee. But then again, he's my my son, Rachel's son, uh, technically stepson, I guess you could say. 100% Celtic Rican, Puerto Rican, but uh, wishes he was Irish.
He has
as
some
much.
spiritually Celtic.
Yes, and
connections.
and this,
When he came home from Ireland, I was
yeah,
singing The Parting Glass. It was a
yeah,
beautiful thing. I
and
did
then
my job.
yeah, and then he likes to wear his cowboy boots and his cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Didn't get that from me. Just saying.
Or me.
Do maps count as a soft reboot? It's all I get these days.
Oh.
I don't know, man. It depends. What does it do a soft reboot for you mentally?
Right. How immersed are you in it?
I mean, I could probably do a soft reboot. Spending an afternoon in the backyard reading a book and just zoning out. I mean, that's a bit of a refreshment. But again, I think the more you can get to nature, some people that might mean going to the beach and you come back.
Oh yeah, the bare feet in the sand.
There's just the reboot is not the same reboot for everybody. Not what will do the reboot for you. Like I find going to the country, it's got to be more than overnight. It's got to be 2 or 3 days at least. Allows me to get out of that city dweller mentality of don't make eye contact and look away when you're passing somebody and all the bullshit we do, and become more sociable. And I need that because it makes me a better me. I think, you know, you know.
Mm.
Oh, Shadow is he lives in the high desert, so he's surrounded by nature.
Oh wow.
Well, then
It must be beautiful.
You get a chance to experience it. When you live in an urban, the more urban an environment you live in, I think, the more important it is for these soft reboots. Like I'm in the Poconos, I can go out in the backyard, and we didn't even do this. We didn't even sit on the. I don't know what was it? That swing.
Oh yeah. Or the hammock.
Or the hammock. These are little things that you can just reboot and refresh, and you change your perspective on your day on your week on what's going on in your life at the moment. Like for Rach and I, we have we have one tree that I take a picture of. It seems like every time I go up to the Poconos,
yeah,
because it just stands by itself in the middle of this field,
yeah,
with clouds behind it, and it is just remarkable. And it it means a lot to us at this point to
Mhm.
stop on a road, it's a dirt road, and to stop, look at that tree, take a picture or two, and uh, it becomes iconic.
Yeah.
And it's there aren't.
We had something really beautiful though. On Wednesday night, we had the blue super
Oh
moon.
yeah, that's right.
I didn't had no clue that this thing was going on until the Citizen app. Citizen is like a nosy neighbor app. It like lets you know like about any kind of like police incidents or public health things. Um, I think it's nationwide, but and you can get it for your locality. It might be busier for here than it is, you know,
Yeah,
where somebody else might be, but yeah, it said, "Oh, have you experienced this blue supermoon yet?" And I was like, "Oh, maybe I should go out and look and see what's that." So I did. I went out and I started taking pictures. I was like, "Oh wow, this thing is pretty cool." And so yeah,
be
it was
good, Vic.
really nice.
Bo paints a week without graveyards does wonders for me. We live in Queens. Queens is the borough of cemeteries. Okay, when New York City was becoming a city, the little cemeteries in Manhattan filled up pretty fast, and they started burying people in Queens, Brooklyn, the Bronx. So the outer boroughs have a lot of cemeteries, and at the turn of the prior century, so going from the 1800s until the early 1900s, there wasn't very much parkland. So if you were going to have a picnic, you went to the cemetery and you had your picnic in the cemetery amongst the graves. A little morbid if you think about it in our terms, but that's what New York City was. So,
Hmm.
um, Tom, working 40 at the nursing home and doing 15 credit hours, I could not go away for spring break. I did a reboot with a rope, a tarp, and an Arctic quality sleeping bag, and slept out in a blizzard. That can certainly be
Whoa.
that can certainly be a reboot. That's one hell of a way. There was
Cold therapy.
yeah, I was about to say it's like that's a bit more than 2 minutes in a cold
The
shower.
2 minute cold shower.
Yeah,
Yeah.
God bless you. Oh yeah, uh, don't get sued, Vic. Don't get sued. SUDE. Ah, God, it's
Mm.
obviously we get asked a lot of questions, and I can't give very many answers.
Mm.
But I haven't changed the way I live. I don't lose any sleep over it. Rach hasn't changed the way she lives. She doesn't lose any
No.
sleep over it.
Because we really didn't do anything.
Yeah, but
That's
just
point blank, that's simple. We didn't do anything.
but you just I had more stressful times working retail than what I'm going through with this. I'll put it that way. And I found retail to be more stressful than being a police officer, and this is nothing. So, uh, Tammy, uh, sodium is my new focus. Too much in so many things.
Yes. That's something that we learned when he was released from hospital 3 years ago.
Yeah,
Um, and we were like looking at I was looking at the labels going, okay, if there's more than this amount in it, it's not something that we can rock with. So it's
right,
going in the garbage or it's getting donated or whatever, you know?
right. So
So,
when I initially was released from the hospital for my congestive heart failure, I guess in end of May 2020. That's right, the year of COVID.
the Rona.
Corona. When I got released, I was told keep your sodium under 1500. Within 3 months, my doc was telling me, listen, keep it between 2,000 and 2,500. I mean, you can 2,500 should be the exception. Keep it around 2,000. So it meant that I was doing a lot better than I was when I went into the hospital, and I thank God for that. I really do. It's uh, it's been an interesting 3 years. It's certainly been one hell of a ride.
Yeah.
Tom, I don't know about sodium. I still have my box of rice roni and a can of spam. My son loves his spam. I never like spam. Canned ham, not even real ham in a can.
I don't
Spam.
remember what it was. It was just like a round thing that could, and you sliced it and
Yeah,
cooked it up. Or that's
yeah,
how Chris does.
yeah.
I had it only that once. I was never raised with it,
Neither was I.
Yeah.
So, God,
And
God
so I was
only
like, oh,
knows.
okay, it's just like any other salty breakfast meat.
Yep. Well, I'm going to put this up because we're going to get near to the end of our time here. This is a link to the DCC bundle on Humble Bundle. It's 74 PDF titles, 10 cards. There's tavern.games/DCC. It's I already purchased it. It's unbelievable value. Shadow, my son loves spam. I'm over it, but have over 20 cans in case of emergency.
Aw.
Okay, that's fair enough. I mean, in case of emergency, I even eat shrimp. I don't know if it eats sardines though.
I don't think I would either.
I mean, I know
They
there's.
say they're like so good for you, but I just can't.
It's like,
I
yeah,
can't.
I can't do it. The eyes are looking at me.
No.
The eyes are looking. They can't do it, man. They can't do it. Shadow, great show as always. You two are pillars of the community, and one of the best shows on all the interwebs. Thank you. You
Aw.
don't watch enough, obviously, because there's definitely finer shows than us. However, there aren't very many that are as down to earth and as real as Rich and I
Yeah, that's true.
are. Okay. This would be like hanging out with us at our local bar without the drinks,
Yeah.
and that's the way it should be. All right.
Hmm.
Again, the best compliment I've ever heard about Gamers Health was, "Hey, I enjoy Tenkar, but sitting down with Eric and Rachel is really where it's at."
Sweet.
And I don't know what else to say. That's just a beautiful concept. And I'll be honest with you, my whole week, my week starts and ends with this live stream. This is how I kind of see my week. It's always like, look, Gamers Health is coming up, and we got brainstorm. What are we going to be talking about? And yada yada yada. And then when it wraps up, it's kind of like, oh, now you get ready for next week, because this is where we really uh, get to share with our community, and the community is you all. Shadow, laughing. Nope, you guys are a blessing to so many.
Thank you.
So well, listen, life is a blessing. I appreciate that more than ever over the last 3 years than you could ever imagine. Uh, I could stare down the possibility of death on 9/11 and joke about it as it's happening and have no fear. And you tell me I have congestive heart failure and I'm looking over the edge, and this could be it. That's terrifying. And I don't want anybody else, literally anybody else, not even my worst god awful enemies out there, to have to go through that stuff and that fear. So if you can learn from my prior mistakes, if you can learn from my current more focused, more on point deeds, and my ability to mostly stay on target, um, then it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. That's the way Rach sees it.
Yes.
And where else do I get to spend a wonderful? I get to spend a wonderful hour plus with my lovely wife every day. But where else do I get to? I don't know. Share her with the, not sharing in that. Don't get your dirty minds out of the gutter. But I'm just saying, get to experience why it is that the
We're
two of
together,
us.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, if you can't figure it out by now, there's a problem. Uh, it's a nice reset for the week. You know what? This is
Thank
kind of,
you.
if we can't get away, this is our reset. This is what I look forward to. And I listen. I love doing my daily videos. I love doing my other live streams. I have a blast. But this is special. This is really special, and we hope it remains special for all of you.
Yes.
So next week we're gonna have a special guest. I'll put that link out early.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll share it. I'm gonna ask you all to share it wide. Um, we should really get I want to get a nice, and we could have done it this week, but I was like, it's the holiday weekend. I don't want to. I don't. You're kind of shooting yourself in the foot by doing that.
Yeah, you want as much reach
Yep.
as possible for this person. They're taking their time to,
Yeah.
meet with us and, share their book and share,
Yeah.
their experience. And
I mean,
so whatever you guys are, want to bring to that, more than welcome. We'd love to have,
yep.
Other people asking questions too and involved in the discussion.
Just giving feedback.
Yeah.
And that's what you guys are, guys, gals.
Folks.
I'm not trying to be sexist when I say guys.
Folks.
I used to address, if anybody was offended by me addressing all my cops as guys, because gals always sounds awkward. Guys and gals, guys and dolls. That's what we need. Guys, and I can call them all dolls.
Well, now it's not just two things. So I don't know. I was always lucky. Somehow, folks was always a part of my
vernacular.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Yeah, that's what I have to say from now on. Is folks. I can say folk you.
I hope not.
I mean, I'm a New Yorker. You got to turn every word into a curse in some way, but we got to work on it. Next live stream will be this coming Wednesday. There might be a special guest who might be of the fairer gender and involved in Shadow Dark that isn't Kelsey.
Cool.
But it's either this week or next week. I'm not quite sure. I put Mike in charge of doing the scheduling for Talking Crypt because when we both did it, the problem was we would double book.
Overlap.
Oh, yeah. It's like, hey, Skeeter. Fuck, dude. Yeah, all right. We're going to have two guests on. Good thing they liked each other.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're dealing with troubles. Folks, thank you all. God bless. I mean it. Be safe, be well. Roll the dice, roll them well. I'll be seeing some of you in 2 weeks at a Shia Con. And thank you, as always.
See you soon. Take care.
God bless you all. Even those of you who don't believe, you're allowed to not believe. I can still bless you. I know, I'm a pain in the ass.